So I thought what I'd do, instead of telling you what I think you should be doing or how you could be better, I thought, well, let me just speak from the heart. Let me just speak from the heart, speak from my gut, and really not have anything prepared, but just tell you what's worked for me. And maybe some of the stuff that's worked for me might work for you now, currently, presently, as you guys have your goals and ambitions. The first thing I would just want to say is this idea and this notion that you could be anything you want. The thing that has worked for me is to remember the hard times. So, and I'm sure you guys all have your processes, and again, I'm going to tell you what's worked for me. So before a big movie comes out, before, back in the days when I was wrestling with WWE, a WrestleMania match, anything big that would happen, I would always take a moment and I'd just remind myself, all right, I was evicted when I was 14. We were kicked off the island. We couldn't live in Hawaii. Had no place to live. Then when I moved to Nashville, I was arrested multiple times by the time I was 16 years old. Like, I remember that. When I was 16 years old, that was the last time that I was arrested. And at that time, we were at an all-time low, I think, with our family. And at that time, we were living in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania. And I am already a pretty big boy, 6'4", 200 and maybe 20, 25 pounds. I had a very bad mustache. I had a chip on my shoulder. Fresh into this high school in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania, Freedom High School. I wanted to use the bathroom, but I didn't want to use the regular boys' bathroom because the boys' bathroom smelled like smoke. And he says, hey, you can't be in here. I kind of pause, look over my shoulder. Okay, I'll leave when I'm done. And I continue to wash my hands. I slowly dry my hands and I walk by him and I kind of just looked at him. I walked by, he looked at me, didn't say a word, but he was fuming. I went home that night and I felt bad. I just felt bad. Very next day, I found him and I went to see him in his class and I said, I just want to apologize for how I acted yesterday and I'm sorry. And I stuck my hand out and he looked at my hand and looked at me, looked at my hand again. He shook my hand. I'll never forget that shake. He wouldn't let it go. He said, I want you to do something for me. Yes? I want you to come out and play football for me. I said, okay. He said, all right. Have your word? Yeah, sure. You got my word. Didn't think much of it. I thought, okay, yeah, play some football. Like playing football? Sure. Cool. And I went out and I played football for Jody Swick. And he was our head football coach. And he became a father figure to me and a mentor. I fell in love with the game of football. My grades got better. And I started getting recruited from every college across the country. College coaches would come in, say, there he is, Dwayne Johnson, 6'4", 250. Plays both sides of the ball. Very aggressive. My thought process started to change. That's when I started thinking about goals and what I wanted to accomplish. And I love that man. I'll never forget the impact that he had in my life. And the reminder and my takeaway from that amazing relationship that I had was the empathy that he had for a punk kid who treated him so rudely and disrespectfully. He looked past that BS and said, I believe in you and I want to turn you around. Oftentimes when I see kids and they have been labeled, oh, they're punk kids. True. But there's good in them. And we got to see that potential. And I enjoy that today, seeing potential in kids just like he did. Especially kids who are kind of wayward and have been going through it. I know what it's like. So thank you, Jody. Thank you, buddy. I would remember that. And it allows me then to be present in the moment and understand the stuff I have around me right now. This is it that I dreamed of when I was a kid. I am here. I played for University of Miami, played for great teams. Warren Sapp, Ray Lewis, they were my teammates. They were balling. Warren Sapp was playing tight end that time. I was starting defensive tackle. Yeah, they moved him over to D-line. And he looked at me, he's like, yo, dude, I'm gonna take your spot. I said, you ain't taking my spot. He said, I'm gonna take your spot. I said, no, you ain't. We battled, and he took my spot. Here goes my opportunity. He went in, switched to defensive tackle, lit the world on fire. Well, what that did, it crushed me, it crushed my dreams. I had a piss poor senior year, zero production, no NFL, no combine invite, nothing. Finally went to the CFL, Calgary Stampeders, making $250 a week Canadian. Now I had to send them to my wife at that time. Had no money. So I remember that. When I got cut from Canada, I had $7 in my pocket. And I always tell that story. What helps me is to keep the hard times in the front of my mind, because it allows me to go into these big moments, with a different perspective. After about a month and a half of staying in that little apartment and cleaning, I got a phone call from the head coach of the team who cut me, the head coach of the Calgary Stampeders. He called me and he said, hey, I know we cut you, but I'd like you to come back. I said, okay, I appreciate that, coach. Thank you very much. I'll think about it. And he said, okay, great. I hung up the phone, and my dad said, you're gonna do it, right? I said, no, I don't think so. I think I'm done with that. And he goes, what? I said, my gut tells me I'm done. He said, what are you gonna do? I took a deep breath. I said, I'd like to get into the business. He said, what business? I said, the wrestling business. He said, you are throwing it all away. It is the worst mistake you will ever make. He said, you're ruining your career. I said, maybe I'll be no good. But I feel like in my heart I have to do this. And I either need you to train me or need you to not train me. My dad rose to the occasion. He said, I'll train you. And it wound up being one of the greatest chapters in my life. My very first WrestleMania, the biggest show of the year, the Super Bowl of wrestling.
It's not just all luck, is it? Well, this is Rocky.
That night, 20,000 fans started chanting Rocky sucks. It was a sobering moment, and that was the beginning of the end of my initial run in the WWE. A few weeks later, I tore a tendon in my knee, and I was out for the rest of the summer. And I came to the realization before I went back that it wasn't me, personally, that they didn't like. It was that I wasn't being me. I wasn't being real. I wasn't being authentic. Who is this guy in wrestling who's smiling when he's getting beat? A few weeks later, I got a call from the WWE, and I spoke to Vince McMahon. He said, when you come back, we could continue to shove you down people's throats, or we could turn you heel because they want to boo you anyway. I said, I think it's a great idea. And I said, before we get off the phone, I have one request. I said, when I come back and we go live, I just need 2 minutes live. Me talking to the audience live, 2 minutes is all I'm asking. He said, okay, you got it. A couple of weeks later, I came back, we were on live TV. I grabbed the microphone, fans were already booing. They started chanting Rocky sucks.
In arenas across the country, I heard chants of Rocky sucks.
I said, I may be a lot of things.
Well, Rocky might be as a lot of things,
but sucks isn't one of them.
but sucks isn't one of them.
In that moment, The Rock was born. And about a month later, I was the hottest heel in the company. And things were on fire. And the greatest lesson about that is be you. Be yourself. Whether it's in entertainment, whether it's out in public, whether you're a celebrity or not, whatever. Then there's nowhere to go but that way. That's it. So I feel like this could be something, an ideology and mindset that could help you, if you look at it that way. Because you made it already. We made it. We're successful boys, and we're lucky boys to be where we're at. Oh, you guys made it. Everybody's rich in the room. Nobody's gonna get evicted anymore. Anything you got, there's no more money problems, right? You got a lot of hands out now. Hey, can I get a little bit? Can I get a little bit? Right, that happens. But when you make it, for me, I need this. I need this. And I wanted to achieve more, and I wanted to grow. I wanted to grow as a person. I wanted to grow as an entertainer, and that I wanted to reach as many people as possible. Not for the box office value of it, but for the connection. And I had come from a world where I was connecting with an audience every night, and I wanted that connection. And I wanted to not only be good as an actor, but if I made the transition into acting, I wanted to be great. I knew going in, the cards are stacked against me. There's a shelf life to a career if I just wanted to get by on popularity. I didn't want to be in that position. I wanted longevity. If that's the goal, then I have to do everything I could possibly do to know the business of Hollywood from top to bottom, from acting to marketing to an executive level to a producing level to a directing level, and just know it as a whole. That would inherently make me a greater asset. And I had to be a student of the game. Know your business. Know your business, become a student of the game, and surround yourself with brilliant people and go to work. And this is how I operate. Now, doesn't mean you don't smile, doesn't mean you don't laugh and joke, right? You're happy, I'm a happy guy. But when it comes to business, and when it comes to executing, it's up against this. And I gotta go that way. And I don't give in front of me. They're not gonna stop me. And you feel like it's only you, and you're in your bubble, and I wish I had someone at that time who could just pull me aside and, hey, it's gonna be okay. It's gonna be okay. So I wish I knew that. Just gotta remember. Hold on to that fundamental quality of faith. Have faith. That on the other side of your pain is something good.